I started playing cello when I was 9 years old, and I played pretty seriously until I was about 25 when I started to do much more composing. And I still play a lot of cello, but now I mostly play my own pieces, and sometimes I play other people's work, but I'm not so much playing classical recital repertoire anymore. Playing cello was definitely my introduction to music. That's like how I really got into music, was as a cellist. Actually, my sort of first introduction to cello was I grew up really close with my grandparents, and my grandmother, me and her would listen to a lot of music just on CD together in her living room, and she, at one point, I think it was like, you know, one of these sort of like best of cello CDs that probably had like The Swan and kind of really, you know, fun classical pieces on it, and the scherzo from the A major cello sonata was on there, and I remember just really loving that and just having the feeling when I heard that piece. And then, you know, I never played any of the sonatas. I mean, I've read through them, but I've never really studied any of them or performed them. But I've certainly heard lots of my friends go through and play them, and I've heard all kinds of awesome performances of the sonatas, so I do love those pieces. And it's been really fun to get to know them from a different perspective. My initial reaction was that this sounded like really fun. It would be really fun to write a piece for Brian and Amal, and I like the idea of taking kind of a kernel from an existing piece and working with it and trying to make something new out of it. I also am really curious to hear, like, I love that they have approached like cellists who write music to participate in this project, so I'm really excited to hear all the results and how all these different cellist composer people are going to deal with this project. Definitely working on this piece, I got to know the sonata in A major much better, and like I also got to know the piano part much better than I did. I definitely had been listening to it and kind of experiencing it much more through the lens of like the cello part and just wanting to like play that lyrical melody. But I really, you know, in studying the piece more and kind of finding in it stuff I wanted to work with, in the piece I got to know the piano part way better, and just, you know, it's just such a cool, exciting way how the two parts are linked. The title of my piece for VC2 is Ridge and Furrow, and that means Ridge and Furrow refers to this practice in like medieval times in the UK and Scotland, where farmers would use this type of plow that would only be able to plow in one direction. So as a result, they would like plow again and again over the same parts of the field, creating these like really deep, almost valleys or sort of ridges, yeah, more like ridges in the earth that are still visible today. And I just really like that idea because I chose musically kind of from the A major sonata to use like this rhythmic motive that I'm in the piece kind of getting the two cellists to repeat again and again in various transformations. So I like the idea of this farming process, you know, building something out of like by tracing and retracing the same path, and I thought that could be really neat to try and transfer that to a musical idea, like tracing and retracing a path, a musical path. And Ridge and Furrow, I think, is also, I like the idea of that title because, like, by sort of tracing my, by like reconnecting to like my cello life and like, you know, working with these sonatas that I, you know, knew really well when I was a cello student, I'm kind of tracing back into this path that I walked before, but in a new way, and sort of going over it and making something new by tracing through it again. So Ridge and Furrow is the title. So I have known Brian Holt for a long time, since I was probably 14. So we were in high school together, and we played together in the high school orchestra and in youth orchestras, and yeah, we were stand partners. Brian and I have been playing cello together for a long time. And Yeah, we even played the Vivaldi duo concerto. Vivaldi, is that what it's called? Yeah, the Vivaldi concerto. I remember that in high school. That was really fun. Yeah, so we've been friends for a long time, and yeah, I'm really excited that I started this project with Amal, and excited to be part of it. To be honest, I actually write a lot for myself, and I have a project with cello and electronics that I perform pretty frequently. And in that project, I do use a lot of extended techniques. And I actually decided in this piece not to go so much in that route. I really love Brian and Amal's playing, and I've heard them play a lot of like classical and Baroque rap, and I feel like they have a really strong skill set in that area, and I kind of wanted to exploit that partially because that's not my strength, and so this is not really, so even though I'm writing as a cellist, this is not really a piece for me, it's more a piece for VC2, and I wanted to kind of really push their rhythmic strengths as performers and players, and so less like an extended techniques kind of thing. To introduce this piece, I would say that I've been playing cello for like 20 years, and I've the cello is like my first introduction to music, playing music, understanding music, and it's like so special to get to write for the cello, to write for like two awesome cellists. I'm excited. It's been really fun to work with the Beethoven Sonatas as a source, and yeah, and this idea of like taking a musical idea and trying to run through it again and again, and trying to see how it changes every time you pass through it, and is it possible to build something by like tracing through again and again? That's what I would say to an audience member.